Good morning, everybody. My name's Darlene, and I have Parkinson's. Today, I thought I would talk about something that is a problem for me. There's lots of things that are problems for me. This one would be, I guess I would say it's unreasonable anxiety. It's anxiety that I know is uncalled for, and yet I can't do anything to change it. I'm going to give you an example of that. Um, there was a time when we had spilt something on the burner, and I understood that, my husband had cleaned it off, but I was very afraid that it was going to smoke. And because of that, I asked my daughter to buy us a new burner instead of using the one that was there. She said that was ridiculous. Like she said, it's going to be cleaned. I'll come and I'll make sure it's clean. So she came over, and even though she came over and I knew that she was going to handle it, I I was still very afraid that it was going to smoke and my smoke alarm was going to go off. And then of course I projected it to the whole building smoke alarm was going to go off. And it was unreasonable. Like I understood that it was unreasonable. I knew in my heart that it was unreasonable, and yet I couldn't change that that's how I felt about it. Not only that, but I was so afraid that the smoke alarm was going to go off. Now, don't ask me how this made me feel any better, but while she was turning the burner on to allow it just to smoke off, which it didn't even do that, she put the fan on and it didn't even smoke because Bill had cleaned it. But even though I knew that, I went into the bedroom and sort of hid out in the bedroom while she did it, as if the smoke alarm wasn't going to ring in the bedroom as well. Like, I knew it was unreasonable, and yet I couldn't stop myself from going into the bedroom. It's like, even though I know it just takes a grip of me. And okay, I dropped my pen. I explained before how I have my stylus around. When I need to use my stylus, I put this around my neck, and it's got my stylus attached to it. And I do that because I don't want to drop it, because my hands, I have such neuropathy in my hands that I can't hold on to things. So I was very afraid that I was going to drop things, and I made an adaptation for that. Well, that's fine until the little string comes loose. And so tonight, early in the evening, I dropped the pen, or the stylus part, down through my chair. And I was very afraid that the mechanism of my chair would get broken. So now I've been sitting with my feet down and not raising up and down my chair all evening because I can't find this darn pen. And so Claudine, she just says, when I come over tomorrow, Mom, I'll find it for you. It's probably under your chair and I'll find it for you. That's fine. And I appreciate that she's going to do that. And I don't expect anything different. And I know that it is unreasonable for me to be worried about it. I should go to bed and sleep and not worry about it until the morning. But instead, it is now 4:15 in the morning. I haven't slept, and I can't seem to just get it out of my mind. How is staying up going to help that? It's not. Like, it's unreasonable. And I mean, I've always been a little bit unreasonable in my whole life, but this is just craziness. I mean, it's like, and I know it's crazy, and yet I can't seem to stop the crazies. I mean, that's what's happening to me. Anxiety is a part of Parkinson's, and this unreasonable anxiety, I guess, is a part of that. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to tell you a little story that I actually think is quite humorous. And we've told this story for many, many years. Bill and I have been together since 1985, and this happened in 1985. So this was a long time ago, and we've told the story many, many times and had a good number of chuckles over it. But when we first got together, I told you before I had a terrible marriage the first time. And so I brought a lot of baggage into this relationship with Bill. And I tried very hard to not let that affect things, but you can't help it. It's just there. Well, anyway, I was so used to being blamed for things that I hadn't done, or treated poorly if I did do something that was wrong, that when a nice person comes along, I didn't quite know how to handle things. Well, anyway, Bill worked for the post office, and the pants that he had were kind of a wool blend pant. But they were able to go, they didn't have to be dry cleaned. They were able to go into the washing machine and whatnot. But, they were just that type of material that, was a little bit thicker and whatnot. Well, at the time in 1985, I don't know if you remember these sweaters or loose type sweaters that were all the rage. They were knit, but they had great big stitches in them. So they're, and they had fuzzy things growing out of them and whatnot. So we looked like we were wearing a boa around us or something. Anyway, the fashion sense was crazy. But anyway, I had a couple of these sweaters. Well, one of them was sort of a pale blue, and it was all this hair stuff going on it. But again, it was washable. So anyway, I decided one day I was going to wash my shirt or my top. And I put it in by itself because I was just going to run it on the gentle cycle. And then I thought, well, I'm going to toss it into the dryer just for 15 minutes or so, just to take the dampness off of it. So I took it out of the washing machine. Now, did I check if there was anything in the dryer? Nope. Just tossed the shirt on in. Well, anyway, Bill's work pants were in the dryer. What now? Black wool work pants. Blue fuzzy sweater. Doesn't mix together. So anyway, I went to get the sweater out after a few minutes, 15 minutes or so, and I opened the door, and all this blue fuzz from this sweater was covering his work pants. It was like it was like they were growing the hair on them. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, look, that's his work pants, right? Now, my first husband would have lost his mind over that. And I probably would have taken a beating over it, he was not nice. But Bill was not like that. But I didn't know Bill very well. And Bill came in and I said to him, honey, I said, look what I've done to your pants. Well, he didn't say a word. He literally didn't say a word. He turned around and went out the front door. And I thought to myself, oh, what an idiot. He's gone and walked out because I made this hairy mess over his pants. Well, if he's going to be like that, I don't want him in my life. So I just immediately got a garbage bag and I started firing all his stuff into it. And I got it all piled up there by the front door. And I thought, when he decides that he's going to show up again, I'll just give him his stuff and he can just get on his way. I was not going to have that. Anyway, he comes back through the door like nothing is wrong. And he says, what's all the bags here? And I said, if you're going to get that upset over your silly work pants having a little bit of fuzz onto them, I said, you can just take your stuff and be on your way. And he said, upset? He said, I'm not upset. He said, I didn't think you had a lint roller, so I went to buy a lint roller. Honestly, I had talk about unreasonable. I mean, I was totally out of my ever-loving mind. I mean, here was this lovely man, and I said to him, I'm damaged goods here. I said, you have to use your words. You have to say to me, I'm going to get a lint roller. I said, you can't just go and do it. I said, I have your stuff all packed up here. I said, I better unpack it. So we unpacked it, and we've laughed about it many, many times about how he went to get a lint roller, and I just thought the worst. I mean, it's ridiculous. Anyway, so I guess me being unreasonable is nothing new. It's been going on since before 1985. And he's stuck around. So that's very good. Anyway, that's my story for today. So I'll see you all tomorrow.